You see funding companies everywhere. FTMO, the Fivers, Alpha Capital Group, TFT, Blue Guardian, True Forex funds, but you also see them fall one by one. These are just some of the firms that have fallen over the last few months. Now, despite all the controversy, I think it is still one of the best opportunities, not only in trading, but also in the whole entrepreneurial space. And here's why. You can start making 5 to 10K a month with only a $500 investment. And you can do it as soon as in the next 30 days. Today we'll help you come up with a plan to not only get funded, but also stay funded and basically use these pro firms to set you up for life. And that is my promise to you. Now, in exchange, I would like your full attention. So close all other tabs and please take notes, because in this video, you will really learn something. For the people that are new here, let me quickly introduce myself. So my name is Jody. I've been a trader for 5 years. Right here you can see some of my MetaTrader screenshots from 2019 if you look at the top. I've been a funded trader for 3 years now. These were actually one of the first challenges that I passed with FTMO. And I basically have been helping people to do the same for the last 16 months as being their coach. Now, trading basically gave me the life I've always wanted. I was able to buy my dream car at the time at the age of 21. Again, also achieved in 2021. It gave me location and time freedom I've always wanted. This is me and my girlfriend in Milan. This is us in Alaçatı in Turkey. It's me and my best friend in Faro, Portugal. And this is us, me and my girlfriend and her sister in Malaga, Spain. This was us in Marbella, London, Edinburgh, and this was only in 1 year. So as you can see, a lot of time and location freedom has come from this job. But it used to be different. I used to fail challenge after challenge. I spent over 20K doing that. In challenges, courses, signals, I basically tried it all before I ever saw a dime from trading. And to say the least, it was a bumpy road. I dropped out of college. I worked a full-time job purely to invest all of it back into myself to get better at trading, invest into pro firm challenges, invest into signals, invest into courses, literally everything. And over time, I was able to work less and less until I eventually quit my job and started trading full time. Now, in order for you to do the same, we're going to make a plan to make sure you avoid as much as possible of the mistakes that I made. And we're going to double down as much as possible on the things I did great. Because the reality is, you don't need to fail. Now, take this to heart, this video, take the content I'm showing you to heart, and really let it guide you. So, now let's start out making this plan. But first things first, what is your experience level? And this experience level, and this is basically also using my coaching approach, I define my traders or my clients, my mentees, whatever you want to call them, in 4 categories, in 4 levels. Now, in level 1, you don't have a strategy. You learned a thing or two about the charts, you don't have a risk management plan. Now, if you're not even level 1, you're level 0 and you literally don't know anything about trading. But level 1, you know the basics, but you don't know how to implement it, right? Now, level 2, you do have a strategy. You know all the terminologies and standard patterns. You don't backtest your strategy often. You don't have data for your strategy. Execute a lot of trades outside of your plan and you experience a lot of emotional hijacking. So basically, where you don't really know what you're doing, why you're taking this trade, this is emotional hijacking. Now, level 3, you do have the data of your strategy. This is because you started backtesting. You execute the right trade more than 75% of the time, and you are able to follow your risk management plan at least 75% of the time. Then the end boss, level 4, is you have a proven strategy. You execute the right trade more than 90% of the time and you were able to follow your risk management plan for at least 90% of the time. Now it is very important that you are going to find out what stage are you in. But even more important, what do you need to do to progress to the next stage? And I'm going to be completely honest with you, the best chance of passing a challenge is when you're going to be in level 3 or level 4. And don't get me wrong, everyone needs to go to level 4 and level 4 is the desired outcome, that's where you want to be. But I would say in level 3 you do have enough of the skills to make a challenge work. Will you always be better off waiting to take a challenge in level 3 and trying to progress to level 4 before you do? Yes, of course. Now, if you're not in level 3 or 4 and you're still in level 1 or 2, taking a challenge is a waste of money. So you don't want to do that. Now you need to find out which aspect are you lacking in, right? If we go back to the stages, is it that you don't have a strategy? Is it that you don't backtest, for example, right? Is it that you don't know enough of the terminologies? Is it that your psychology is off? Your data is off? Whatever. So find out what the area is that you're lacking in, and then try and progress inside of that area. Now next, we are going to talk about your capital. And what do I mean by this? I mean, how much money do you have in the bank? And this is maybe a little bit out of the blue question, but it requires you to be very, very honest with yourself. Now, secondly, how much money are you able to invest and potentially never see again? I found out that the magic number for beginners is $5,000 in the bank and 500 USD able to invest or lose. This is 10% of your liquid net worth. So if you're not in that stage right now, I would really encourage you to save up until you do. And if that is something that is difficult right now, I would say search for a job. Now, of course, I know a lot of you, or at least some of you, are living in third world countries where the maximum salary is like $250 a month or $300 a month. And to be honest, guys, I really don't know how you're going to do this, as trading challenges aren't cheap. Education isn't cheap. So for everyone living in a third world country, I would say learn as much as possible online for free. And then the numbers that I gave you right here, I would say divide it by 10. You will see we will start with some sizes later in the video, but this won't apply to you. You just need to start out with 5K challenges and try to build your way up from there, as this will again also be a lot of money for you. Now, for the other people that are living in first world countries, we are going to put some size behind it. We are not going to buy 5K challenges. We will be putting some size behind it and basically put our balls on the table and go for it. Now, what account size are we going to buy with $500? Now, let's say you are in level 4 or on level 3 and you have made your way up to a 50% win rate. I think this is something doable. Even a 40% win rate will be very, very good to start challenges with. Now, I have noticed that with a 50% win rate, you will also most likely have a 50% passing rate. So if we would do the maths, mathematically speaking, you will need 4 challenges to get one fund. Challenge 1, fail. Challenge 2, pass. Challenge 3, pass. Challenge 4, fail. This will give you 2 phase 2 challenges, which you will pass 1 from, with a 50% passing rate. And now you understand this concept. This will basically bring everyone in 2 camps. Or you will say, yes, Jody, this is a very good idea. I completely understand you. Or you will say, this is a bad idea. I'm going to basically waste money on 3 challenges before I can pass 1. And that's true. But remember what I said. If you have a 50% win rate, you most likely also have a 50% passing rate. So mathematically speaking, this is legit the best way to approach it, as people live in the belief that they are going to pass every challenge that they start. That's not true, right? So a challenge doesn't cost you $100, $200, $300. It costs you double, triple, or even quadruple, like in this example. So I hope that you're now able to see that this way of approaching firms is very logical and controlled. And basically we're creating a business. And the actual risk we have on the line is not the trades we're taking on the accounts, as the accounts do not even represent our money, but it is the money we actually invest into the accounts, because this money gets out of our bank accounts into theirs. Ideally, you would like to pass all of the challenges, of course, but that's not realistic, and at least this gives us room for error. So now you're on board with that. I want you to only pay attention to reliable firms and wait for them to do a discount. Now, if you're lucky, you will be able to buy 4 20K challenges for $500. Right now, for example, I just took 2 examples. Blue Guardian, you're able to buy a 25K challenge for $140. And this is believed with a 20% discount. So for 4 times 25K, you will be at $560. The second one is with the Fivers. You can get 4 20K challenges for $620, but this is without any discounts. I know that, for example, Alpha Capital Group also does a lot of discounts, but it is very important to mention that wait for a discount with a reliable firm. Don't go for the firm with the biggest discounts. It works only the way around, where you go for the reliable firm first and then a discount. Don't start with the discount and then hope that it is a reliable firm. Okay, so let's use this as an example. Challenge 1 is a 20K challenge and it costs you, let's say, $125. So that we can work our way up to that 500 in total. Now, we have 4 of them, right? We have $500 invested into 4 of these. And basically, if you use the previous funnel that we made right here, you can see with a 50% passing rate, you should be able to get 1 funded. So in the end, 1 will stay, and that is your funded challenge. So now you're funded 20K. I want you to extract 4% out of this funded account. Now, this is after profit split, so in theory, you should be able to make 5%. And it doesn't matter if this is in a month, in 2 weeks, in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, just try to extract this amount. So $800. And this will then allow you to reinvest into 450K challenges. So these challenges that we had right here, they will now become 50K. And if you have a discount, you should be able to buy one for, let's say, $250. Let's be realistic, you're not going to find one for 200, or you shouldn't want to at least. So 250 should be doable, I guess, with a discount at a reliable firm. So this brings you these. And as you can see, you only have to do a $200 extra investment at this step. Now again, using our funnel, we should be able to pass one. So now you're funded 50K plus you already had this 20K. So now you're funded 70K in total. And I want you to do the exact same thing again. Aim for 4% after profit split. That will be $2,800. You can do this in 2 splits, 3 splits, doesn't matter. Just try to extract 4% out of these accounts. Now you'll be able to buy 4 100K challenges, even more, but 4 I would say is enough to use with our funnel again. You pass one, you're now funded 170K. You do the same, 4%, and this will be 6,800 USD, right? Of course, this isn't the most optimal scenario that you're not going to fail a challenge, whatever. And we will get back to that, how to up your chances to not failing your challenge. But see how the scaling plan is basically as good as bulletproof, and it will help you scale a lot quicker and a lot more controlled. Now you're going to buy 200K challenges, and then you're making a lot of money. Because if you also have a 200K, you're looking at 370K funded, and you're now looking at profit splits of $14,800. Now let's talk risk, because what risk should you be taking using this approach? I really like to do 1.5 to 2% risk a trade. And yes, this might be very controversial, as I like to risk big on challenges, and I see everyone is always telling you to keep risk small and work your way up there. But the reality is, staying stuck in a challenge is not something that will progress your trading. Believe me, some traders are stuck in challenge 1 for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. I've even known traders that have been stuck in a challenge for over a year. And yes, this shows that they're somewhat consistent, break even, but they're not making money, right? And they're basically getting so stuck up with this challenge in their head, trying to make that money back, and it's just taking forever, that they're just stagnating their progress. So I would suggest you to risk 1.5 to 2%. Now, this is a table that you can see, and if you're above 0 and 2 minus 4%, so 4% on drawdown, I would like you to risk 1.5 to 2%, like we discussed. And remember, this is 2 losses on each account, right? You have 4 accounts, 2 losses on each account. So basically you have to take 8 losses in a row before you're lowering your risk. So then let's say that happens and you're in 4% drawdown. Now your risk goes to 1%. Then you have 2 more shots. Then when you're in 6% drawdown, risk goes to 0.5%, until you're at 8% drawdown, where you're going to risk 2% again. This is basically like a last revival method for your challenge. And I've noticed by doing this, I'm passing more challenges than ever. Right now, I have a 60 to 70% passing rate, if it is not even more. So this really allows you to scale up a lot quicker. Now, if you're funded, I want you to lower your risk, right? So above 0 to minus 3% on drawdown, I want you to risk 1%, 3% on drawdown, risk 0.5%, and 8% on drawdown, risk 2%. So basically from 3% on drawdown to 8%, you are staying on a 0.5% risk. Challenges are about conquering, but the funded stage is a lot different. Funded is about survival. So you need to make a shift in mindset and a shift in risk in order to get these great results. Because what you were doing in challenges, they work great, but it doesn't work that well in funding. While what you're doing on funding does not work that well in challenges. It's weird, but believe me, for your psychology, I think this is the best method out there. And then when you're funded, only focus for 3 to 4% a month target after your profit split, like we said. And once this target is reached, you go to the next funded account or you go to the next challenge. So let's say out of these 4 challenges, you already passed one, but you have still 2 open, right? So this 3rd challenge, then you're going to just try and reach your 4% target. And let's say this is already hit after 2 days, 3 days, it's no worries. You just let it be, you leave it on the sideline and you're waiting for your payout. You're going to be chilling, right? But then on challenge 1 and 2, you're going to try your best again. You're going to try and pass these challenges. Now, if you're able to pass one of them as well, now you have passed 2 out of your 4 challenges. And I hear you thinking, this should be 50%, but remember there's a phase 1 and there is a phase 2. And this will only progress your progress so much more. Now guys, I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye guys.